Don't panic. I've got a towel. We're doing the Pan Galactic Gargle Blaster. Get on in here. It's how to drink Douglas Adams style. Woo! Hell yeah. Nailed that cold open. One of my favorite books of all time is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is just a hilarious bit of satirical science fiction that I loved when I was a kid. I picked it up, a copy, just at random from my school library when I was in high school, read it, blew my mind, couldn't stop laughing. You know, it's the story of poor Arthur Dent, sort of a homebody who things don't just go right for, and his good friend, Ford Prefect, named for a card, who happens to be an alien, who happens to be on Earth writing for the Hitchhiker's Guide, when the Earth is tragically destroyed by a Vogon construction crew. Really a demolition crew. Somebody else is probably going to build the hyperspace lane. But anyway, Earth gets destroyed. Dolphins leave the planet. So long. Thanks for all the fish. One of the most famous fictional cocktails of all time is the Pan Galactic Gargle Blaster. I have some notes down here. The recipe reads as thus. Take the juice from one bottle of that old Jenks spirit. Pour into it 1 measure of water from the seas of Centraginous. Oh, that Centragian seawater. Oh, those Centragian fish. Allow 3 cubes of Arcturan Mega Gin to melt into the mixture. It must be properly iced or the benzene is lost. Allow 4 liters of Falian marsh gas to bubble through it in honor of all those happy hikers who have died of pleasure in the marshes of Falia. And over the back of a silver spoon float a measure of Calactin Hypermint extract, redolent of all the heavy odors of the dark Calactin zone, subtle, sweet, mystic. Drop in the tooth of an Angolian sun tiger and watch it dissolve, spreading the fires of the Angolian suns deep into the heart of the drink. Sprinkle Zaphod, add an olive, drink, but very carefully. Okay, I don't have any of these ingredients. These are all just made up things. So I've got to come up with a cocktail that follows basically the spirit of that without being terrible. I had to make some decisions about what things were. Jenks spirit, I think that's going to be champagne. Centraginous seawater. This is some 20% saline solution I made. I think that's what we're going to do. Dave Arnold loves this in cocktails, for the record. He says anything with some fruit in it or anything sweet, he always adds a few drops of that. It just accentuates the other flavors. Arcturan Mega Gin. Obviously gin. I'm going to go with Ford's Gin. You know, Ford Prefect, Ford's Gin. Seems like a no-brainer to me. Falian marsh gas. This is an interesting one. So, marshes of Falia are known for having intoxicating gases that make their hikers die of pleasure. Other cocktail channels, namely cocktail chemistry, has gone with nitrous oxide here. I think that's a great choice. However, I just instinctively had a different idea. I think about marshes, I think about bogs, I think about smoke and gases. So I did something insane, and I bought some peat. This is a peat bog briquette. I'm gonna smoke the cocktail with this. I don't think that it's too toxic. It's definitely somewhat toxic. Silver spoon, Calactin Hypermint extract. I tried it with this Menthe Pastille, or creme de menthe. It's just not really like doing what the rest of the drink should do, so we're gonna go with bartender's favorite, Fernet Branca. Drop in the tooth of an Angolian sun tiger. I've decided that will be a sugar cube soaked in Peychaud's bitters. Sprinkle Zaphod. Okay, sprinkle Zaphod, add an olive. I don't know what Zaphod is. It might be like camphor. I don't want to add camphor to my drink at all. That would be like Vicks Vapor Rub, and I think we're kind of getting there already. Add an olive. I won't add an olive to anything. That's just fucking disgusting, particularly this drink. It'd be gross. I'm sorry. I don't like an olive in my martini. I encourage you to do so if you so choose, but you'll see why when I get to the end of this that an olive will be a mistake. Start by taking my mixing glass and my jiggery doo-doo. I want to add 2 ounces of my Ford's Gin. Ford's is just a great example of a London Dry Gin. Really, any London Dry Gin should work here, at least as well as Ford's does. I want 4 drops of that Centragian seawater, also known as my 20% saline solution. Beautiful. And now improbably, I'm actually going to stir this over ice. Okay, so we're gonna crack some ice over this. Now, all I've got in here is salt water and gin, and I'm gonna stir it. Why? Well, it's gotta get cold, it's gotta get diluted. There's really, everything else gets added kind of as a float or as a drop-in, so that's where we're at. We're gonna stir this thing up. We're going to pour the drink into the coupe. At this point, nothing more than a exceedingly dry gin martini, which I'm going to smoke with my Phalian marsh gas. Those Phalian marsh gases. Oh, bring me back to those Phalian marshes. So I'm going to smoke this with Phalian marsh gas, otherwise known as Irish bog peat, which I have here, and I've broken up a little bit so that I can get this to burn in my little smoker. So here's the thing. This stuff takes like kindling to get burning. It's not really going to burn off of a match. I'm going to break the rules of the smoking gun and use a torch to light it up. Don't call the smoking gun police on me, please. Heavy blue smoke. Do this very dramatic reveal. And now I'm going to top that with champagne. I actually strongly encourage you to go with a sweeter champagne than you would normally use. A Brut would be a mistake here. I'd go with an Asti. A little Moet White Star is actually sweeter than your typical Brut. Might not be the worst choice. That's our old Jenks Spirit. Now I want to add a float of this Fernet Branca. A bar spoon, a slightly more than a bar spoon. It does say that we should use a silver spoon, so. Next, I'm going to take my Peychaud's bitters and a sugar cube, and I'm going to soak this cube in Peychaud's bitters. And this will be our Angolian Sun Tiger tooth, and into it it goes, and it should produce a fair amount of bubbles. And a twist of lemon. Not directly called for, but a dealer's choice option. I think it'll improve this drink dramatically. Let's see how this rendition of the Pan Galactic Gargle Blaster has been. And there have been many real-world recreations of the Pan Galactic. That is unusual. Whoa! That's wild. That is really wild. That is new ground as far as I'm concerned, because basically what this is a weird martini. It's a weird martini because instead of vermouth, we're using champagne. But then, of course, we're adding a little bit of bitters, and we have the Fernet Branca on the top there. A little twist of lemon, but it's crazy because it's smoked, and you can really actually taste the smoke in there, like strong. That is not going to be something everybody loves. There's no question about it. It's definitely drinkable. It's something that somebody loves. It's something that maybe you would love. It's something that Zaphod Beeblebrox and Ford Prefect might love. Do I love it? I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's definitely drinkable. It is so that's the question. Is my mission to create an approachable, easy to drink, objectively, oh yeah, that's delicious, drink? Or is my objective to knock your brains out with a brick wrapped in a wedge of lemon? This definitely feels like a brick smashing me in the face. Maybe it could be more lemony, to be honest, to get that wedge of lemon. Let's actually just try to be objective. We'll give it some objective tasting notes. Here we go. First off the nose, I get lemon. There's a big lemon wedge right here, so I should. Smoke. Definitely smoke, kind of a coal fire smoke right up front, which gives way to juniper and a little bit of the Fernet, which is funny because Fernet is usually so dominant it comes in first, and then that finally settles into some of the aftertaste parts of wine, of champagne, I should say. You know, the one question I keep coming back to is, would it be better if we rounded it out with a little bit extra sweetness I feel like the answer is yes. I'm going to add a bar spoon of sugar, of simple, to this. I'm going to mix that in, and of course in the process unleash the rest of that sugar cube. Whether I like it or not, that's all right. Let's see how that. I do think that helps it. I think that helps mate the flavors together a lot. I'm going by memory here, guys. I've read that book and I loved it, and I haven't read it in many years. I don't think that the Pan Galactic Gargle Blaster plays a really pivotal role in the book. It's just something that people thought was hilarious. I think that it was written as sort of a gag about particular and fancy martini orders at a time when cocktail culture was like kind of lame and not so great, you know, in the 70s. You know, when I sip this drink, I would tell you that it makes me want to stop and contemplate the meaning of the life, universe, and everything, but in truth, it actually just sort of upsets my thought process and stops me from having any more thoughts. Whoa. So, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you have to have a special thumb and your towel. And you use your towel to flag down a passing spaceship. And that should work to get me out of here. Yeah.